Washington. Undefeated on the season. Well, that's great, but you can't fall asleep against a very talented Utah team.
Yeah, you're right. The head coach for University of Washington, Jim McLaughlin, paid a huge compliment to Utah just the other day on the phone. He said, we cannot be a sleeper. We have to pay attention. Forget Utah's record. If you're a volleyball aficionado or you've watched any tape on Utah, you're going to be very surprised. They have all the pieces. They're fiery competitors. They show up ready to play. Tonight's not going to be any different.
Not a surprise, though, for Utah is going to be the power coming out of Washington, including that from Krista Van Zandt.
You know what Krista Van Zandt does is she brings it every night in terms of her attack. And just when you think last year's National Player of the Year could not improve, her head coach challenged her to be better. She has gotten better as the season has gone on. But more impressively, she plays a big part on the court, especially in the back row. She's a great server and a great passer as well.
Meanwhile, for Utah, they have strength in the middle, but have a plethora of hitters. Shelby Dalton, one of them that brings power.
When you look at Shelby Dalton's numbers, you have to be impressed. And like Krista Van Zandt, you can see that she plays all over the floor, and she does. But what is most impressive as of late is that if you look at the last 4-7 matches, Shelby Dalton is hitting over 300. Last weekend, she hit pretty big numbers against the Bay Area schools as well. I admire her game. I love the way she steps on the court. How about 29 kills, 3 digs for 278?
Utah always brings their A game to Seattle. The last 2 years here. Gorgeous night in Seattle, and I tell you what, it's going to get really hot inside Alaska Airlines Arena. Brought to you by Tashikara. Washington hosting Utah, and Utah led by Beth Lanier in her 25th season overall. She brings a lineup that is known, as always, for great blocking. She has a veteran in the middle and a freshman in the middle. They're going to do a lot of work today. As for Washington, again, Jim McLaughlin, 25-year veteran, the head coach, 7 of those coaching the men at UC, the women's game rest of the way. He brings a beautiful mix in his lineup as well, including those outside hitters. T. Scambray making a real play for freshman of the year in the Pac-12. Krista Van Zandt already made her case last year as National Player of the Year. Washington will serve first. And there's a look at the freshman, Tia Scambray, who has had incredible growth this year, according to Jim McLaughlin. Schofield passes the first ball, is going to take first swing as well. Krista Van Zandt announces herself.
You have to get used to Washington doing this. I mean, why not be able to go outside to that pair right there in Van Zandt? She's had a wonderful career. That's why we highlighted her in the Open. She's a go-to player, but the difference for Washington this year, it's made a big deal for them, is the weapons that they have at the net. They use 30 feet across.
Get them all the way across. It goes outside to Dalton, and she registers her first kill of the night. Chelsea Schofield Olsen will be back to serve. A senior out of Provo, has been a starter for this team for the last 3 years. Washington in trouble. The swing will come from Scambray. It's good enough.
If you're Utah, you really need to be able to pick up these points. I mean, here's a Washington team that just basically gave you the free ball situation. Not an ideal pass for Washington, but Utah, that ball fell right in front, and these are the points. They're going to have to reduce their errors and pick up these points when they can.
Kathy Strickland known for picking up some points. It's a perfect pass for Schofield Olsen. Credit that one too. They got Strickland off the back line as well.
Anytime that you can be aggressive and strict and aggressive serving, but how about Utah coming in? You see that defense there in the back row. Shelby Dalton, we just mentioned it, 4 of the best 7 Emory, hitting better than 300. That's the reason why she found the open space.
A service error there from Leah Adolph, and you certainly have to serve Washington tough. They do. Katie Beals coming in for Washington serving.
Washington's got a big presence at the net. We'll show you our net cam there, and you see the penetration. They put those hands high over that tape.
Credit Schofield Olsen Austin with a perfect pass to start that play.
You know, that's it. This is the Utah team where their passing is getting better, and this is perfect for them. All these things are falling right into place at the right time. They've been competitive in these matches. I said at the top, Emery, you got to throw the record away. They're fiery competitors, and good passes like that will lead to players being able to hit at sharp angles.
Utah 2-6 in conference play. You ask Beth Lanier how it's going. She says, I'm having a blast. Trust me, Utah is coming with the heat. They've got a good rest of the stretch to bring.
You know, she's a competitor herself as a coach, and that's what sets tone. I mean, she certainly doesn't back down from competition. She knows that her players are getting better, and she too has improved as a coach in this very tough league.
She was excited before this match, saying how tough they play Washington every time they come. A hitting error there is another Utah point. Alonza Katoa back to serve as Jim McLaughlin, an absolute master of the game, charts every move. Outside, Scambray is blocked. And another block from Utah.
Just anticipating and reading, and blocking's been such a bright spot for University of Utah. Maybe not the dominant blocking team that they have been in years past, but I scouted this Utah team, that ASU victory earlier on this year, and I will tell you, blocking came alive at the right time.
And Bethner takes such pride in that part of the Utes game. Outside again, Goldfield Olsen. Eels sets Van Zandt in the back corner. I can't believe I have that. Or I can't believe I didn't have it, rather. It hit her arm.
Just want you to take a look at this angle from our Enzo cam, and well, you see blockers for Utah go up, and she just goes the other way, and Jim McLaughlin doesn't even want her to necessarily hit at that angle. He said earlier this week, you don't have to hit that angle, just hit this angle.
How about that angle from Bailey Bateman? Straight down.
Bateman is one of those explosive players that you love to watch. She's hitting over 300. She's a good server. She's back here to serve right now. Second most aces on the team with 10.
Puts up a tough serve to Van Zandt. Outside. Scambray uses the block effectively.
Utah feels like they've really scouted this Washington team very well, as they do other teams, but they know one thing. Depending on where that ball is at, they're going to have to set the block, they're going to have to be tight, make sure that they're in position. It's all about eye movement, the technical work of your footwork, and of course your hand work at that.
Bailey Tanner suffers a service error. And she comes in, a redshirt freshman out of San Clemente. And Callie Kirby going back to serve for Utah, maybe the most technical upsetters for Utah. She's got a nice front line there, and she gives it away with a service error. Back-to-back front off of Washington's error.
Well, as long as Utah can keep this close, I mean, this is what they're used to doing, and we talked about this team battling, this Utah team coming in, and Beth Lanier knows they just played Stanford the other day, point for point when you watch that match. Impressive.
Yeah, a 4-set loss to a Stanford team that's #1 in the nation, and they never trailed really by more than 4 points. And right now, Utah's blocking has made the difference in this first half of first set. Utah with a couple of freshmen up front alongside Dalton. And that's a tough matchup for them as they have Van Zandt.
There you can see right there, Cassie Strickland out of the back row, libero for Washington. She just made it look so easy. A very easy pass to hit that setter who just tees up Krista Van Zandt, who reads that. And it wasn't necessarily a trouble set where you think she might hit. She just made a good read.
No, it's just smart. Strickland on fire.
Jim McLaughlin's daughter, Molly, loves Cassie Strickland. Jim McLaughlin asked his daughter, Molly, why? And she said, Dad, Strickland just gets it. She has all the tools. She just gets it.
Yep, absolutely. And you'll trade off a service error for service ace like that from Strickland because it makes you tremble when ready to receive it.
You know, high risk, high reward. We see that across this conference with the great servers. And how many times do we talk about that with USC's Samantha Riccio?
Same idea. Servers, believe me, they kind of clench a little bit when Strickland is back there. Your arms get tight, your legs get tight. Vincent continuing. And from the backcourt, Schofield Olsen. Kirby served down the line at Vincent, but it goes back. And again, Utah's block shut down the net. And that was a couple freshmen, mind you. Back to Dalton. Oh no!
When you can stay in system and make digs in the back row like that dig right there by the freshman Scambray of the Huskies, good things will happen at the net. It's one thing to dig a ball, it's another thing to dig a ball and be accurate.
It's another thing to hit a ball so it feels like it's going to... Dalton turns it a little too much.
Washington just continues to throw up good servers in their rotation. Katie Beal's a good server, especially last year.
Every one of them, Shelby Dalton gets it right that time.
That was a good momentum shift there, much needed there by Utah. And this is where I promised you at the top. This is a Utah team that battles. They're not letting Washington make an early pull away or separate themselves in this critical first set.
Utah freshmen at either pin, Adora Nye and Katoa at the pins, Bailey Bateman in the middle, the only senior up there. Utah plays a really nice mix, Tammy, of freshmen and upperclassmen, and right here as you look at that front line, it's a perfect example. Bateman holding it together as the senior.
Yeah, she's that senior veteran there, and of course don't forget Katoa, the freshman, and number 14, another freshman from Hawaii.
Adolf gets her hands on it, but it goes awry. Krista Vincent, another fantastic server for the Huskies. Oh boy, and she serves straight into traffic.
These are those, when you're back there to receive the serve, you've got to be ready, and a little tricky little floater and knuckball kind of moving around in the air.
That time the traffic clears, Schofield does her job. It's up! Middle, Wade is done. Oh, Nye, the freshman, gets a hand on it. And Utah gonna play so hard. Here's their chance to set it up. And Nye gets the touch. Utes get the point.
That was just great execution by Utah all the way around. It started at the net with the defense and the blocks. A good presence by those two right there. You have to remember, Nye, out of Hawaii, the freshman for Utah, played at a very high level when she was in Hawaii. You can tell she's good application on court.
Kaylee Nelson said, "Are you ignoring me? Have you said my name yet? I'll make you say it."
Timeout on the floor.
A tight match, a tight set number one, and for the Utes, they're not going to let Washington get too far ahead. It's a 2-point game. Welcome to Alaska Airlines Arena. Set number one between third-ranked Washington and Utah. Some of you just watched Stanford keep their undefeated streak alive while Washington is trying to do the same thing and Utah playing them tough. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside Tam Blackburn.
So the unbeaten and Stanford number one ranked team in the nation remains unbeaten. But anything can happen in the Pac-12 Conference of the sport of women's volleyball. We know that Oregon just got knocked down by ASU on Oregon's home floor.
Nye touches that one, goes outside. Schofield Olsen, if we haven't introduced you, a senior who brings it every day.
9th all-time career kills, has more than 1,200. She needs 2 for being in 8th place on that list, 11 for moving in 7th place. How about her being a double-double player, consistent kills and digs?
Kaylee Nelson again, so smooth. Pursuit is too far. Stanford, one of 7 ranked teams in the top 25 out of this conference, and look at extra points in 2 of the 4 sets. Shows you how brutal this conference is.
You know, you gotta love it. And UCLA, they got a lot of good weapons, a strong team there, and Cassili doing a fantastic job. Carstello, what a season she's having. A big outside hit for University of Utah. But how about the 4 undefeated teams in the nation? Stanford, Texas, Washington, Florida State. So Utah looking to try to get Washington to get their first loss.
Oh, absolutely. And Utah playing so tough. Beth Lanier loves this Utah team that she has. They go right at Van Zandt again. Shelby Dalton behind. They're making that block work, but it did work.
And you gotta love how they're certainly serving Van Zandt. Now, Van Zandt is a great player who can pass, and she's obviously proved in that area, according to Jim McLaughlin, but you can see that Washington has other weapons.
Washington has not dropped a Pac-12 match since November of 2013. Scambray, perfect pass, and Van Zandt tries to put away. Oh, it's a tough angle. She has the back line. The crowd respectfully disagrees.
They like that, but from my vantage point up here, that ball hit the line. And you see that ball has some heavy topspin, and that's what allows it to drop right at the last minute. I think that is, in fact, the right call.
To the middle. To Belden. It's her first swing of the day. Very low error from both these teams in terms of attacks. Only 3 hitting errors for Utah, 4 for Washington. Strickland is long, and everybody on Utah's side exhales.
Well, you just mentioned it, Anne-Marie, very low error. So University of Utah hitting .304 right now, and Washington hitting .259, 11 of 27, only 4 errors for Washington by a number of different players.
And a service ace for Utah. Tied up at 18 in set number 1. And that was a good time to mention again that Utah beat Cal in 5, took Stanford to 4, and you talked about Stanford number 1 in the nation unbeaten, Washington number 3 in the nation unbeaten. It has not been an easy road for those 2 teams.
Yeah, and they erased a 2-0 deficit, did Utah against Cal. Cal jumped out there. They were looking for their first Pac-12 conference win, and the first time the University of Utah since 2006 had to erase a 2-set deficit there to come back, and of course that happened with some momentum going into the Stanford Cardinal match in the John Huntsman Center. The first time that they were back in the Huntsman Center for women's volleyball. Their home court.
Behind, oh, Wade crushes it.
So good off 1 foot, right? We just saw that just a few days ago with Lily Schoenweis of Cal, who executes the slide so well. And we know that several other players in the Pac-12, but Wade just does it so nicely with a lot of power finish.
Yeah, and the freshman blocker is determined to not let that happen again. Still Olsen plays it smart. Perfect set from Strickland. Wow, Utah's defense is spot on. And it pays off.
You know, defense that you just mentioned for Utah, it was there, but it started with the block and the net defenders too. They were there and they anticipated. I thought their footwork's good. They got up, they competed in that line of vision there to make it very difficult.
Tied up at 20 apiece. Let's just play a short set to 5, shall we? Outside, Scambray.
People talk about Cassie Strickland being a crowd favorite, but I might think otherwise. Tia Scambray certainly, as a freshman, had a lot of years to lighten this crowd up.
Wilson's pass for Rye. She pays for it.
If there's one thing I love about Nelson and her game, it's her celebration after she puts one away and hits the down ball like this. Watch the ensuing celebration here on the overpass. There was a picture on the UW website just the other day of her celebrating, and you can just tell the fire in her eyes, the love of women's volleyball that she has, and the passion with which she plays.
Utah trailing by 2 in this first set. We talked about how close it has been for them many times this year. They've come out on top a few times in those 5-set matches and had some heartbreak.
You know, all 3 losses have been on the road there, and you see those 3 straight 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, and Beth Lanier said it was really nice, Cal, to be able to kind of change that L to a W, because they had been in those and hadn't been able to get them. But I just think it was really key in how the way that they approached that Stanford Cardinal match. And John Dunning said, really tip my hat to this University of Utah. And he knows what he's going to get from a veteran coach in Beth Lanier, and they never back down. Coincidentally, the other day, Jim McLaughlin told us the same thing about that coach right there.
Yeah, and Beth Lanier said, look, there's one thing to talk about the great athletes that you're coaching in this conference. She said, you're coaching against such incredible coaches in this conference. She called it that chess match we talked about with Cal and Stanford. Both of these coaches here tonight, 25 years on the sidelines.
And John Dunning, Rich Feller, I mean, you could go down the list. Jim McLaughlin and what he's done.
Terry Biskevich.
Right. Beth Lanier's done it just as long as all these other coaches have as well. So nice to see, and you know what you're going to get into when you're playing in the Pac-12.
For Washington, they're back home after 2 weeks on the road. There's a lot of mental intensity and energy and focus required for that kind of a road trip, according to Jim McLaughlin. Perfect from Schofield Olsen. And it's the freshman, Anai, who's able to get it.
Almost looked like Sabella was just looking for where the coverage was, and there was no coverage, so she backed off, and then a little bit too late there.
A little bit of a middle error as Bailey Baton now serves. An opportunity for the Utes. The back shuts it down. Washington now up by 2 again.
Sabella has made an immediate impact on his team from when she stepped in 2012, and it particularly happens at the net. She has a big presence at the net, doesn't have a ton of pressure on her because of the balance of this Washington team. She plays better and relaxed.
Another service error for Washington, their 5th in this set.
Bailey Tanner, is struggling from the service line tonight. She'll certainly want to make some adjustments.
The middle. And boy, Selden just elevates. It is set point for the Huskies. Beth Lanier going to take a timeout. Maybe try to ice the server a little bit.
2 things there. You're right. Number 1, ice, but also strategize a little bit, because she knows that her team has been able to go on runs in the past. And let's not forget about that victory over ASU, top 25 ranked team. And there were a couple nice runs at the end. I believe it was set number 3 when I was watching it. Again, anything can happen. University of Washington, of course, wants to close this out right now.
Washington trying to preserve their undefeated record. Really, they're just trying to win another match. That's the way that Jim McLaughlin is looking at it. As Beth Lanier and Utah, 6 of the last 8 matches the Utes will host are going to be at home, and that's going to make a difference. You mentioned, Tammy, that they're back at home inside the Huntsman Center for the first time. They played in Crimson Court, where there's renovations for Huntsman Center, and Beth Lanier said, look, it's our home now, Huntsman Center.
Yeah, she loved Crimson Court. I mean, we've been calling Beth Lanier's match for years, and I remember when she won her 400th victory there, and there were signs all over, and it was Beth Lanier 400 Crimson Court. But she also explained that it's a real strong venue, the John Huntsman Center, for volleyball. The pursuit of the volleyball, it's open, it's got a great feel. You get a lot of those Salt Lake City loyal fans up there, and why not? The 3-time Mountain West Conference Coach a year when they were playing in the conference, regular season titles, 14-20 win seasons. Are you kidding?
It remains set point here inside Alaska Airlines Arena. Fans on their feet. There's a lot of traffic on the left side of the court. Will Skimbo trying to serve into the traffic. And yes, she does. Schofield Olsen holds it fine. Absolutely, you go to Vincent. She uses the block, and Huskies take set one.
I wouldn't have called any other number. And number 16 for the University of Washington Huskies. To the outside, she tools the block. We'll wait for the Huskies to finish set number one.
A tough first set. Washington had some errors. Utah had some fantastic blocking. I think we're going to be here for a while. Settle in. It was just set one. Set two after the break. Pac-12 women's volleyball is presented by Tashikara. We've got the ball. You bring game. While playing in this conference, according to Coach Beth Lanier, is like climbing a mountain. It gets tougher every week. Utah dropped set one by a hair against a very tough Washington team.
Now, close match, and really credit to both of them, but Washington, they hit 353, only 4 errors in their attack, and 81% of the time, they sided out 18 of 22, so they got the ball back when they needed to, and it's very tough to break their serve.
You know, as I talk about climb mountain, it gets tougher every week, I realize it's Jim McLaughlin who told us that. So that came out of the coach that's undefeated, and he's saying it gets brutal every week.
We talked so much about what Beth Lanier's done at Utah, and the same can be said for that man right there, Jim McLaughlin, in his 14th season here. Don't forget about 4 years at Kansas State, and then on the men's side, 7 years at USC. National Coach of the Year in 04, 3-time Pac-12. What he's done, and boy, he's a man of science and breaking the game down. I love to talk science and stats with Jim McLaughlin. It's a lot of fun.
Kirby serves to begin set two. Strickland picked off the settable ball. And there's a net violation against the Utes. And Tammy, as you talk about Jim McLaughlin, one of his favorite quotes we're talking about before the match, you hear it, you forget it. You see it, you remember it, you do it, you understand it.
The one thing that he speaks to his athletes about on a regular basis is that we just need to focus and be who we are.
That was a very unlike Strickland serve. That was awesome.
She short-served it a little bit, right? Everybody's used to her bringing the heat. How about that? And
she hooked it too.
She may have fooled a couple people. That ball had a little hook, a little short.
If you're back on your heel waiting for that Strickland, to your point so much that you're like, she's got a hook too. Schofield Wilson took a few swings in the first set. They might want more. Because Krista Van Sant has taken a lot of swings today, 12 already.
Washington wants to be who they are. That is who they are. Strickland in the back, making a great dig, puts hands up in the air and uses those hands to keep that ball alive, and continues her service.
And it gets some smarts from Melanie Wade, mixing things up.
And I don't think the defense for Utah is out of position. It's certainly just a read, and when you tip it that way, it's almost like she's tipping the ball down, so Utah has less time to get that, to react.
Strickland continues her reign of terror from the back line. And it is exactly
this one again is top spin heavy, and anytime you're close to that end line and you have that much top spin, it allows that ball to cut and drop through the air. And you see, it's almost like a drop ball in women's softball. You're standing at the plate and you're trying to swing and that ball just falls off the table. How about that on that back line?
She's so interesting, Cassie Strickland. We documented at the beginning of the year that she made the move last spring from outside hitter over to libero. And part of that, Coach is telling us, is because of her mentality. You know, as an elementary school player, she was a football player. She was a quarterback and a middle linebacker. Before the match, you and I talking to Jim McLaughlin, there's a lot of similarities between a middle linebacker and libero, the captain of defense.
You know, she has all the 3 tools you need to play at this level and be good. Physical, mental, and emotional toughness. In the Seattle Times today, Jerry Brewer wrote a great article on that woman right there, Cassie Strickland, and talked about her and her football career and how her dad wasn't going to really let her do it, was not something that he wanted her to do, and so he finally got sick and tired of Cassie saying, "Dad, come on," and he said, "I have one rule. I'm going to change my mind, but I have one rule. If you cry, I'm taking you off the field and you have to quit." She said, "Okay, didn't shed a tear, finished with a great career in football, but realized, like you said, that she ought to get to the court because she probably had a better chance.
Her mentality is still the same. I mean, Jim McLaughlin said he just loves that mentality that she has. And it says something about her that she bought into it and said, yeah, I can really contribute as a libero for this team. By the way, libero not a bad position. You're in on every single play. It's beautiful.
You know, she doesn't mind being in a position that Feller would say, you get no glory because you make straight plays. You have no control what happens at the end of that play, but I will tell you, you set your players and your teammates up for success.
Haley, the head coach of USC, told me earlier this year that 8 out of 10 letters that he gets are from liberos, people wanting to be liberos in the Pac-12 conference. He said every single team in this conference has a stellar libero because of the pool. And that tips it.
You know what I think about that comment that Mick Haley made to you is that perhaps great liberos want to go to USC because Nicole Davis, who just won a gold medal championship with the women's national team, a great libero. Natalie Hadwin, another great libero. UC's had a great string of liberos, so no surprise there.
Yeah, but at the school too. I mean, you talk about Cal, certainly Maddie Kerr, same deal. That ball never over. And Washington continues to rack up the points. Tammy, what does Utah need to do to turn this around?
You know, for me right now, I just think it's their time. I think they need to settle in here and reduce some of those errors. I thought they were in set number 1, point for point. Certainly passing is going to help. And there's some passing right there, a little bump there by Adolph.
Number 3, Billy Bateman. Replacing Truman.
Here it comes, but by Adolph, and you know, just giving your outside attackers a chance, and Patoa is able to hit that at a nice angle.
And they followed up with an error on the serve. Maybe that's the one time they can't afford it, as the ball is now in the hands of Krista Vincent. Goes at Schofield Olsen, back to Dalton. She's had the most success today. Ball's in play. Goes to the middle and it's just one weapon after another for the Huskies. Tammy, that's the first swing by Washington in this set that has not resulted in a kill. They were hitting 1,000 in this set. Dalton. And again, just mixing up speeds.
Lanier knows and understands that tip is really working for the Washington Huskies, and so they're probably going to talk about it again. The defense may have to adjust slightly just to try to cover, but it's so hard with those power hitters. I mean, what do you do? Constant in-set adjustments. You adjust here, then Washington comes back and they adjust.
You're so right, Timmy. If you adjust and move up much, you got to cover your head. You'll get a concussion. That ball will come right off you. So for Utah, they're down by 7. They need it tough, but they got to switch to really accurate serves at this point. Skimbre uses the ball. Perfect pass from Schofield Olsen sets up a beautiful swing and kill from Katoa.
So that's what Utah needs. They need just a little more of that. Good passing leads to options at the net. You know, they'd love to be able to kind of get their middle here in the mix with some attacking.
From the outside, Schofield Olsen, look at that block, just reaching across. There's nowhere to go. And a net violation on Washington.
In the net, and a point for Utah.
Utah trailing by 6 now.
There it is, just a slight brush of the left arm on top of that tape. That's a violation. Utah with another service error here.
Jones, number 28, back in.
Bailey Tanner back serving, and Chrissy Jones comes in up front for the Huskies.
Here's what Jim McLaughlin wants Bailey Tanner right now. Just hit her spot and get the ball over that.
Beautiful rip through the block is high.
Yeah, she does a nice job there of reading that block and understanding that there was just a seam and goes right after it. Again, a player from Hawaii who played at a very high level. She found that seam and hit right on the inside of Belden's arm.
Anai doing everything she can to save that ball, but ends up with her back in the net. And again, the lead is extended back up to 7. It's a tough spot to me for this Utah team. Scambury back to serve. Set goes awry. It's kept in play.
Big presence though at the net by Washington's block. To Van Sant, set the block on the outside, had that presence there, and you see that makes a difference. And it's a low hit into the tape, but just the presence alone of those blockers that can sometimes really impose on an attacker.
Meanwhile, that's set a little bit low. Truman says, give it to me a little higher and I'll crush it for you.
Yeah, Utah certainly not playing the same way. Just out of sort here in set number 2. A great set 1, but her energy and the momentum certainly in favor of University of Washington.
What Utah can take away from this, you mentioned earlier, they were down against Cal. OU came back to take that one 5 and win it. They were also down 0-2 against Colorado, stretched that one to 5 and lost in the final points. That's what they need to rely upon. Utah down, not out.
Number 12, Callie Kirby. Kirby serving. Replacing Anai and Seaman.
Jim McLaughlin hoping to have a season like he did last year. 30-2, 18-2 in Pac-12 with the first place finish.
Went all the way to the NCAA national semifinals last season as well.
And they drew Penn State and lost to Penn State, but looking to get back because he and his players understand that last year was great and it was magical, but it wasn't magical enough, and they're not content. So this is a Washington Husky team that continues to work towards getting back to the finals and winning a national championship.
Cassie Strickland just struck again. According to Coach Jim McLaughlin, Cassie Strickland thinks less and believes more. And oh my, her serve is just autopilot.
Yeah, I was going to say Claire's probably going to need a timeout here to stop a little bit of this bleeding. And in fact, she stands up and she does. And this great Strickland serve, the pressure she puts on Adolph of Utah can't handle it.
In the spring, Jim McLaughlin had the conversation, as he called it, with Cassie Strickland, saying she should be libero. Everybody's been talking about her serve her entire career. Welcome back, Washington in the driver's seat in set number 2. Cassie Strickland, well, actually, she's in the driver's seat of this bus. 4 aces so far tonight. Does a smart thing, keeps that one in play. Says, you're not going to ice me. Dalton, try and put it away. Van Sant hungry. Another kill.
That ball served off the net and stay inside. I thought Van Sant might take a different angle, but she changes just at the last second. And she just has a great feel for the game, can do so many things, makes great reads. That's what makes her, well, last year's National Player of the Year, having another great season this year.
Outside, it was quick to Schofield Olsen. She got it.
Talk about taking a great angle and putting one in that open space to split that defense there in the back row. What a career for Chelsea Schofield Olsen. 2011, her freshman year, was a key player by the second round of Pac-12 play, and then led the team in kills her sophomore year.
And a double contact called against Washington.
Her junior year, Schofield had 14 double-doubles, averaged over 3 digs per set, so you can see that she was not only a great hitter, but a great defensive player as well.
And Schofield Olsen averaging this season over 3 kills per set. She has 4 today, so does she have 4 even today? She's kind of a little bit under her average, and they really need to set her and get her involved.
Yeah, they do, and they could use her because she's one of those players that would make any team better. We talked about that with Beth Lanier, and she said that's a good call. It's a good way to describe it. No matter where she would play, she would make any team better.
Dalton, a good job off the hands of the block. Utah with a lot of work to do here. They want to go into the break feeling good. Oh my, Kaylee Nelson bringing more and more heat with swing.
Good pass by Scambray. Good service received there. Scambray, freshman in the back, just making it work for the setter, who's able to get that up to Nelson and put it away.
Strickland takes control. Washington working those little shots, the little tips. They have worked.
We see the balance and how off balance they're trying to keep Utah. Go to the middle, back to back. Wade first with the tip, and then on that second consecutive one, she's able to hit a nice angle over to the left. So he certainly is keeping the Utah balance in this set number 2.
Dalton finds the corner.
Nicely done off 1 foot by the senior. Last year's ABC All-American honorable mention.
And up front for Utah now, Beth Lanier made the change. Took out the freshman Katoa, put in the senior Moiahi. Maybe a little more experience in some areas. And right then went through the block.
Back into the Dodge, replacing Strickland. Melanie Wade serves.
And for Utah, they are furious with themselves. Believe me, after this score, they played much better than this in set number 1. There'll be some talk about composure like that for Nye.
Well, you know, we see Washington do that, mix it up, and so when I take a page out of the Huskies books and say, well, I might be a freshman, but I feel like pretty good playing at this level, so let me mix up a little bit there, and that's a nice adjustment by Nye, making a good decision. But a service error for Utah just takes them out as set number 1, and now you have set point for the Huskies.
That one hurt from Moiahi. And Jim Lomoffin's Huskies are at set point again. Fans on their feet inside Alaska Airlines Arena. Moiahi from the backcourt. And a ball handling error against Washington. Another opportunity for Utah to make a great play. And a net violation against the Utes will end the set number 2. Washington, total domination.
Well, Anna Ray, certainly Washington put on a little bit of heat. Competed, Utah did in set number 1, but you have to appreciate a couple things. Very good hitting percentage by the Huskies, using a lot of their weapons, certainly spreading around all across 30 feet of this net, but their execution has been spot on, and it all starts to knack for them with passing.
Washington wins a hard-fought set number 1 and then totally dominates in set number 2. Jim McLaughlin joining us now. Coach, we know that set number 2 aside, never completely satisfied. What can you expect to adjust for set 3?
Well, I just think the important thing is to stay in a rhythm right now and do what we're doing. We got in a good rhythm in game 2, made errors in game 1, and just really have to make these guys earn their points.
For you, Jim McLaughlin, in set number 2, the passing continued to just improve from set number 1, and there's some awfully good passes coming to your setter, and even when your setter's not playing that second ball, you're able to get the looks up 30 feet across the net. Can we expect more of that in set number 3?
For sure, and we just got to, we can do what we want to do when we take care of that first contact, and we've got to continue to do that, but they're doing a good job thus far.
Thanks so much, Jim. Washington error-free on the attack in set number 2. Are you kidding me? 4 kills on 22 swings, 0 errors. That's tough to beat. That is what Pac-12 volleyball looks like.
Hey, good evening. I'm Ashley Adamson with this Pac-12 intermission report. We'll get back to Seattle, where Washington is leading Utah 2-0 in just a moment. First, so let's check in on some other Friday night action. Number 1 Stanford putting their perfect record on the line, hosting number 17 UCLA. Second set, Stanford up 1-0. Carstel Low stuffed by Inky Ajanaku. That is worth certainly one more look. Stanford will take the second set 30-28. Third set now, Bruins trying to stay alive, and Low makes it happen. 26 kills, 8 digs for her. To the fourth set we go, tied at 25. Matt Bugg sets it up for Ajanaku, who finishes. She had 15 kills, 9 blocks. Stanford stays perfect on the year, improving to 19-0. That wasn't the only top 20 matchup going on Pac-12 networks. Number 11 Oregon, number 18 Arizona State this afternoon. They split the first 2 sets. We pick it up in the third. Chelsea Keoho with the big dig, and Liz Brenner puts it away. 4th set now, Sun Devils up 2. Mackenzie Wiley gets the pancake, and Mace Gardner puts away the kill over the block. ASU able to force a 5th set. 5th set now, Mercedes-Benz with Roof in the middle. ASU 21 blocks as a team. Match point now for the Sun Devils. Whitney Follett gets it done. Arizona State pulls the upset on the road over number 11 Oregon. Stick around. Your latest sports report update is coming up after the break. Right now, the undefeated Huskies in control at home.
Great time.
Welcome back to Alaska Airlines Arena. Washington up 2-0 in the second set. 14 kills, no errors. Who does that?
University of Washington does that. They hit 636 in set number 2, but they had 353 in set number 1. And as Bethanier will tell you, Washington just very consistent. They're a team kind of sometimes brings a pattern. They understand that if a set is a certain place that they're going to hit cross court, they're going to hit for this angle. If it's set out wide to the pin, then they're going to hit the line. But Van Zandt and so many others for Washington, a lot of weapons, very hard to handle.
Meanwhile, Shelby Dalton doing everything she can in the second set. She hit 429 for the Utes.
Well, no surprise there. She's been so consistent coming into this match, hitting better than 300 in the last 4 out of the last 7. They continue to set her. They're going to have to go to her more. And I will tell you that Utah just got to kind of reduce the errors and play like they did in set number 1.
Really, what Utah needs more than anything else, Tammy, is a very short memory. They need to forget number 2 altogether, and they certainly are capable. We've talked about it already. They've been down 2-0 before against Cal. They came back and won against Colorado. They came back and brought it all the way to the final points. But Washington, maybe a different animal. They are undefeated.
Here's the trouble in set number 2. What did we see? Each time Utah wanted to take the momentum away from Washington, they would side out, and they sided out 85% of the time the Huskies did, just in the second set alone.
Olsen tries to change her pace, and she does. Block looks good, but the defense is solid for the Utes. Don't celebrate too early. Chrissy Jones finds the end line.
A bright freshman here for the Huskies. We talked about Tia Scambray and the Huskies being a good freshman, and Chris Jones has equal talent. She's the number 14th overall recruited, according to Senior Aces.
inside Alaska Airlines Arena. Anne-Marie Anderson alongside Tammy Blackburn, Washington, undefeated. Went 19-0, and this is the best start this Huskies team has had since 2005, tied for the longest active win streak in Division I volleyball. Utah looking to make a push.
They are one of 4 teams. Washington is nationwide, who still remains unbeaten. Stanford, Texas, Washington, Florida State, all coming in with zeros in the loss column. And the history here, best starts in school history, 1985, 23-0, 04, 22-0. Don't forget about 05, 23-0, and then of course 19-0 here this season.
Last year they started off strong like this, and with the #1 ranked team in the nation, they were 10-0, and then they went to the Mountain States, and Colorado beat them. So Colorado is going to be coming over here to Alaska Airlines Arena on Sunday, 1 p.m. on Pac-12 networks. Washington knowing every match is a battle.
You're right. We have passed the halfway point in Pac-12 women's volleyball play. Anything can happen. ASU beat Oregon on Oregon's home floor. ASU survived a 5-setter. They closed out the 5th set 15-9. Led by great plays by Mercedes-Benz, Bria Bailey, the true Canadian player Whitney Follett.
How about that play? Speaking of freshmen, Eliza Katoa, 35-inch vertical, competitive, aggressive. We've talked about it. 2 freshmen in the front court for Utah at almost all times. Bailey Bateman is surrounded. Katoa on one side and Anai on the other.
Love Katoa's numbers against Hal. Katoa had 8 kills, 2 errors, 18 attempts against Cal. Did not play against Oregon State University, Arizona, or ASU, but you get Katoa here and get her some reps, and Beth Lanier likes what she sees, but too much for Utah right now. Marie Huskies, they're continuing to roll. That momentum is certainly on their side.
I mean, it's one thing to be passing great, it's another to prove it with numbers. The Huskies don't have anyone on the floor hitting under 333.
There's just little things happening for Utah that are just not sharp. An overpass, that's instant termination by the Huskies. They're just too good. They'll take advantage of you.
Yeah, that's lunch, free lunch right there. And Washington up by 2. And don't worry about the contact on that pass. It is legal. Ball gets kind of past Bateman.
But see, that's an opportunity missed right there by Utah, because that was not a great pass, and certainly that set was way over and out of range, but Huskies were able to pull it off.
Schofield Olsen gets a decent swing, and Hayden Nelson murders the ball.
13th All-American in 2013. If Van Sant was not an option on the left last year, Nelson was an option on the right. She gave the Huskies team the balanced attack, and you add some of these great freshmen to the mix this year. This is why the Huskies are undefeated.
Washington has held their opponents to a 173 hitting percentage in conference play. Utah's been hit better than that in this match. And then block that time, a use of the block as it was out, but the Utes playing with great pride. They trail just by 4. I got to step on the gas.
And I was hoping that ball was in. It was awfully close. It was a nice clean block, but it was just outside point Husky, and Bay Tanner for the Huskies back to serve. And I tell you, she's cleaned up her serve. She struggled early, but she's made those necessary adjustments.
And that's beautifully smooth. The Carly Truman, freshman out of Tucson, in the middle. They just need more of that.
Oh, they need more of it because she's a great freshman. She got kills against Stanford. 7 kills, hit 333. Give that freshman some opportunities.
Chrissy Bones again uses the block. Boy, Beth Lanier is such a technician on blocking that it kills her to do that.
Now, this is a Husky team, a Utah team that traditionally is great with blocking. Their assistant coach Brian Doyen has done a great job over the past years in shifting the Utah's blockers. He guided the Utes to one of the successful stretches on the block in recent memory, 2011, 12, and 13 seasons. Utah was 9th in the NCAA and 2nd in Pac-12 with 2.9 blocks per set in 2013. They're smaller, but they're quicker this year, so they don't have that big presence in the net.
And the big presence there come from the other side of net, Sebelden and Van Sant, and then that ball goes home.
Timeout, Utah.
Lanier takes a timeout to talk to her team. She has no other choice at that point, and Utah needs to find a solution. Maybe it resides on their bench. One of the all-time greats for the Huskies, Crystal Morrison, outside hitter from 2004 to 2007, had a big honor here yesterday.
Yeah, just a really special occasion as you look at Crystal Morrison, her numbers, the Huskies outside hitter 2004 to 2007, all-time leader in kills, only 4-time ABCA All-American in UW history, 4-time first-team All-Pac-10, but more importantly, Emery, when you ask these Husky fans around Alaska Airlines Arena what they remember about her, the words come to mind, fearless leader, and what you also have to admire about her is that she strongly considered herself a role model to young girls, and it was the most important job she saw as a great student athlete here at UW.
Really something to be singled out here for the Huskies, and it seems like every player on the floor this year is just excellent. It says a lot about the culture that Jim McLaughlin has built. You know, this Huskies team was not that successful when he took it over 14 years ago. This is built by Jim McLaughlin.
Yeah, it is, and it's continuing to climb and get better with him right there at the helm. Last year, their final ABCA ranking after their loss to the Penn State Nittany Lions in the national semifinal, they finished 4th in the final ranking, and they picked up where they left off. There is no doubt in my mind that this team, ski team, will go deep into the NCAA tournament, as will, I think, Stanford. Now, several other teams for the Pac-12 should get into the NCAA tournament and have a chance to go deep.
9 teams got NCAA tournament bids last year out of the Pac-12. It is the strongest conference in the nation in terms of ranking. 7 ranked teams in the top 25 are out of this conference. And Shelby Dalton puts it down and says, I'm not done yet.
And here's an impressive stat, just to put a bow on your thought there. 10 teams in the Pac-12 this week have an RPI ranking in the top 50. Utah at 49, 10 teams.
A ball handling error there, and Utah is back within 4.
In my mind, the Pac-12 will be well represented in the NCAA tournament, but Utah knowing that these are important matches to make the decision for the committee easy, but you still have to like their top 50 RPI.
Yeah, this is the beginning of a 4-match road swing. They're heading to the Arizonas after this swing. Of course, they'll go to Washington State Sunday. After that, they can set up shop in the Huntsman Center. Van Sant from the outside gets the ball right back in her face.
Well, you have to really credit Dalton on that one. She read that Van Sant was in trouble, and on a trouble set, this is oftentimes what players do. They try to tip, they played high on the block, they closed it out, and did you see the pressing right over net to put that ball right back down? Nicely executed.
Yeah, she got trapped there. We hope you're enjoying our volleyball match. We know you're a sports fan. Well, Saturday, big-time football on Pac-12 networks. Tomorrow, some of the Pac-12's biggest stars come out to play, and a bunch of conference matchups. It starts at 11 as 25th-ranked UCLA goes to Boulder, face Colorado, and then Arizona versus Washington State at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Pre-game kicks off at 10 a.m. Pacific time. You know, it's never too early to start the conversation. Who do you think's going to win? What's going to happen? Take a look along the right side. See those hashtags? Tell us what you think on Twitter. Use that hashtag. We'd love to hear your predictions, your thoughts, maybe a little bit of your trash talk if you want.
In the lobby of the hotel where we're staying, Emery, there's a lot of ASU fans because they're all staying there. They were having a little Sun Devil party in the lobby, and they were all getting out their phones and start to get excited about their match here at Washington. Just played at Husky Football Stadium, right behind Alaska Airlines Arena. You can hear the Husky band warming up the field as we got out of our car and made our way inside.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. It looks like it's going to be a wet one too, Timmy. And It's a lot of fun to have your most devoted fans come out and get a taste of beautiful Seattle weather and good football.
I think I'll stay inside, maybe drink some hot chocolate, and watch some Pac-12 football all day and prep for our matchup on Sunday, which will be here against Colorado and the Huskies.
A lot to choose from. For a football lover, a sports lover, Christy Jones again continues to roll through the block.
Christy Jones, great experience coming into Husky program, a member of the USA Youth National Training Team. Jim McLaughlin said all the training that these young student athletes get before they come in and step on big stage is so crucial in their development and helps them transition into what he believes is a tough conference to play in.
Cassie Strickland, new career high for aces in a match. 6 now. We need a speed gun is what we need.
Put one on she and Samantha Bricio.
Oh my goodness! And she comes up, calmly passes it. And she's going to get another chance. Nope, there was a touch. The Utes breathe a sigh of relief. 6 aces in this match for Strickland.
There's a number 6, magic number 6. Serves, airs, 4s, high risk, high reward. Dig 7.
Vincent, so smooth too, her swing.
One of the areas of improvement, Jim McLaughlin challenged her to improve, wanted her to be great, and that included her approach and her attacking at the net. She's got a nice quick arm swing, a strong arm swing, and it's the back swing that matters to Jim McLaughlin, and perfectly executed there by Vincent. Not much of an approach there, but she has a power. She can get away with that. Just makes it look so easy. It wasn't fast, wasn't as explosive as we have seen in the past, but it was spot on.
And a mental error from Utah makes it a little bit worse. Meanwhile, back to Vincent. 12 kills, 2 errors. And again, we come back to just being incredibly low error. Washington as a team, just 5 attack errors. Tammy, that's so tough to beat. In fact, as we take it a step further, there's only 1 attack error for the team. It is set. That's the only attack error for this team since the first set, and that's Jim McLaughlin, who told us before the break we made a few errors in that first set. They had none in set number 2 and won this one.
They hit 636 in set number 2. They're hitting 550 here in set number 3.
And just the rallies that come off of errorless hit, it's relentless. A beautiful block from the Utes.
Well led, and Bailey Bateman deserves to smile. A good job of getting up. One of those players that's smaller blocker but quicker, trying to play quick and high. That's what they're trying to do.
A mental error there. Great serve from Kendall Segan. Can Utah make the push in set 3, regain their composure? Maybe so.
Well, they've done it before.
They have certainly done it multiple times before, and they don't mind playing long. They got nowhere to go. They've had 5 set matches, as we talked about earlier. 1-2 and lost 3. And there's another consecutive point for Segan.
Tell you, Jim, when the Huskies start to pull away, Utah inches their way back in. Jim McLaughlin doesn't like it. He knows that Utah can make a run, so he's going to try to stop it here with the call to timeout.
Utah trailing by 3 against Washington. They're going to make the trip over to Washington State on Sunday. And then they remain on the road. Arizona State and Arizona, a couple more top 20 teams. In fact, if you look at that stretch, they're going to have 4 top 20 teams in a row. As for the Huskies, well, they'll play Colorado on Sunday here on Pac-12 Networks at 1 o'clock. Colorado last year beat the Huskies in Boulder. And then, of course, they'll face 3 consecutive ranked opponents. All those on Pac-12 Networks, Colorado, USC, and Oregon State matches. And as that Cassie Strickland takes the baseline, well, she's just on fire.
She just has It's top spin, it's heavy, it's coming at you, it drops right off just in front of you. You think that you're adjusting it. It's very difficult to eyeball all the way through on that jump serve that has a lot of power. We know that Samantha Bricio of USC clocks in. I think she tops off at about 51 miles an hour. We've seen it 46, 48, and 50 consecutively. I'm not sure that Strickland has 50 or 51 mile an hour, but it's certainly 46, 48, and with that topspin, man, that's difficult.
That was a fast serve. I really do wish we could measure the speed today because it is as fast as I've ever seen it. She has the respect of her coach, saying that she does what great athletes do, pushing herself out of her comfort zone into this libero position. Beautiful pass. Oh my! What an unlucky break as the ball skips across the net. Just a dance across the tape. And that's just impossible to really set. She got pushed to the net.
Less than ideal pass there. Back to just a moment ago, as you mentioned, Anne-Marie, just dancing across the tape as it spins all the way across a good 12 feet.
Yeah, that couldn't be repeated if you tried. That's just unlucky. This equipment working against it. That ball falls short and Van Sant on the service line getting into a roll. You don't want that woman on the roll at all if you're her opponent. Serve is long, and Utah has a pretty tough hole to dig out of. This is one of the few rotations where the Utes do have two veterans up front, in Schofield Olsen and Bateman. Anna joins them, the freshman from Hawaii. It's a good rotation to make run. And that kind of angle, the reason why.
Is that inside 10-foot line? Tough angle. Nice and sharp here. Go back and take a look at that. And that ball, that was inside every meter. Beautifully done by the freshman, Tia Scambray. Getting a look on the outside. It doesn't always have to be Van Sant. Doesn't always have to be Nelson.
Another swing the other way. Utah able to dig it. They're going to celebrate every point.
It is not a comfortable lead for this Husky team. 4 points.
No, believe me, they know the history from the Utes. Scambray swings. The veterans, nope, they go freshman delivers.
There it is, and now they cut it to 3 as that ball just waterfalls on the side of Washington. Look at this, the Husky fans have to get up to try to get them to side out and break the serve of Utah.
Tough serve, they're going away from Van Sant now. And a backcourt attack there as the setter plays the ball above the net. How about that? Kaylee Nelson is dug. From the middle. There's a kill, it counts.
Well, you can see what the middle will do for you. You know, you want to get your middles involved, and it by far the toughest place to try to block is you see Truman flying solo at that point in time on a monster approach there.
Utah wants to get out of, Washington wants to get out of this gym as soon as possible because they just felt the momentum shift.
Schofield Olsen thinks otherwise though, as she tools the block there.
The Utes have the momentum and they know it. They trail by 2. They have no memory of set number 2. Playing tough. Chrissy Jones. Ball's on the line. Utes.
But it was, and that's a good call there.
Kirby serving. 4 across, or 3 across for Washington receiving. They've gone away from serving Van Sant too. Back to Schofield Olsen. She's tough as nails. Gets another kill.
And it's all tied up. And I'm not sure if the Huskies saw this coming from the Utes. When they had pulled away, and McLaughlin knew what the Utes had.
That's right. If history tells you the Utes love this situation, that's a tough service for Kirby because it gives the match point to the Huskies.
And the Husky fans know the dog pack is up on their feet. And your freshman's back to serve. And Beth Lanier going to do here in match point, critical match point, what she did and earlier on, which is to try to ice the server and remind her team that it can be done.
Listen, Utah is hitting well over the average of Washington opponents this year. I mean, Washington's been holding their opponents to a 173 hitting percentage in conference play. Utah is hitting 308 in this set. They've hit 275. They're playing good ball. They don't have a lot of errors. It's just Washington's been playing out of their minds for 2.5 sets today.
And Utah has just made a very timely run, and so they've taken the momentum from Washington this game. And you hear our great analysts across the Pac-12 talk about it. Holly McPeak talks about it all the time, the Olympian who played at this level. It is so important to shift momentum and have it be timely, and that's exactly what the Utes have done.
Let me tell you, Beth Lanier in this conference has done great things, and she reminds us they came from Mountain West, but none of these players on Utah's team played in the Mountain West. This is a Pac-12 team with Pac-12 caliber athletes, and they have risen to the occasion, finishing 9th, 7th. They went to the NCAA second round. This Utah team is capable of great things.
It's old news. It's just It's old news. They don't even want to talk about it anymore, and you don't have to talk about it because that's a Pac-12 coach who has made an impact and turned this Utah program around when she came to Utah in 1990. Don't forget, she's done more off the court for women's volleyball as the ABCA president in 2009.
Match point for the Huskies on their home court. Perfect pass from Schofield Olsen. Krista Van Sant gonna take the swing. And Schofield, third time hitting that angle.
And we are all tied up here. Take you through it. It's a high outside set. And that angle had to be there. You saw the blocker tried to get out.
What a tough serve. Totally gutsy. Ball is dug. Beautiful back to Shelby Dalton mixes it up. Ball's in play. Don't you celebrate.
Oh my!
And a lift called on Washington. Oh, a heart attack play. Utes at set point.
And the Husky players and Jim McLaughlin want an explanation on this call.
They're saying it was a lift on Washington. But now they're calling it a replay. Wow, you never see that, Beth Lanier. Whew.
No point. Replay. Tied at 24.
Wow. A replay called as Beth Lanier is talking to the official, John Kenyon. All right, first rule of volleyball here from Schofield Olsen. In is good. Beautiful seam serve. That's right.
Kirby with the read.
She says, just because we're in your gym doesn't mean I have to play your way. Van Sant says, it is my gym.
I would tell you the Huskies were on the road, and Arizona in that matchup to set number 1. And this Husky team figured out the next 3 sets to walk away with a 4-set victory. They're trying to do the same thing here.
Looks on the service line. Cassie Strickland, 6 aces tonight. That's Sutton on the money. It's up. Back to the National Player of the Year. She makes it work. Match point. Huskies.
And here's where you go back to that Arizona point out them figuring it out. Here's where the Huskies have figured it out. The tables just continue to flip-flop.
Strickland on the service line again. What a perfect pass! There's it, crushes it, as she should. 15 kills. Match is over.
Clearly that redo on that call that was overturned was a set changer. And the Huskies walk away with this match.
Washington Huskies 3, Utah Ute 0.
Take you back to that last point. Strickland with the jump serve, a less than perfect set. So free opportunity for the Huskies to go to National Player of the Year from last year, Krista Vincent on the outside. Not to make too much of that replay, but that call was big for the Utes and allowed the Huskies to pick up that momentum.
What an ending to a match. Yeah, it was 3 sets, but that last set showed everything that Utah had. That'll end it for us here at Alaska Airlines Arena. For Tammy Blackburn, I'm Anne-Marie Anderson saying goodbye from Seattle, Washington, as Washington sweeps Utah in a very tough match. But we've got more volleyball coming up. We're going to send you to Oregon State in Corvallis, Oregon, as they host 20-team Arizona. Richburg and Mike Dodd will have the action there. So long for now from Seattle.